From the death of a dearly loved monarch
Should be missed a lot.
to the chaotic exit of a controversial PM.
Hasta la vista, baby.
And now their pound is being pummeled.
The British pound hitting an all-time low today against the dollar.
When currencies fall in a kind of vertical manner.
Harsh economic reality is setting in for the new Prime Minister.
But while tourists strike a more upbeat tone,
As you're telling me this, I'm thinking, oh, what does that mean for me now?
for Brits, yesterday's pound plummet, the worst one-day crash since Brexit, could be catastrophic.
These aren't just parlour games and movements on financial markets. If the pound goes below $1 to £1, that will inject inflation into the UK economy. That will tighten this cost of living squeeze.
I only work part-time, but I am thinking, do I need to up hours at work?
The drop means more pounds will be needed for imported goods. Britain, a net importer of energy and food, something the new PM knows well.
We import 2/3 of our cheese. That is a disgrace.
The new leadership team, who've been in office for 22 days, the culprits for sending sterling into freefall after unleashing the biggest tax cuts in half a century and huge increases in borrowing.
We need a new approach for a new era, focused on growth.
Can we afford these tax cuts, Chancellor?
The government has lost control of the British economy. And for what? Not for you, not for working people, for tax cuts for the richest 1% in our society.
So will the big British economic gamble pay off?
Not looking good.
I never thought I'd see, you'd see the UK in this kind of situation where it just seems like a place where you wouldn't want to live. I've got friends of mine over there who are just like, they're literally having to make that decision between food or electricity, like the cost. It seems like a very unlivable place.
It just struck me when we were staying there, how many people I spoke to, like cabbies and people that lived there, that voted for Brexit, and they were like, oh, no, well, what? Like, we didn't understand it properly. Like, this is not what we... Like, it was in... They just weren't informed. They were given the chance to have a major say in what happens with their country, and then they were like, oh, I don't like this. Can we go back? And it's done.
Yeah. So democracy's a bad idea. That's what you're saying.
But I don't think. I think when there's no understanding of what you're actually voting for, I think for the most part people didn't actually understand. And to be honest, the fact that it's taken so long to get to this point to even get Brexit through meant that even I think the politicians didn't understand what this actually meant.
But if I were a Brexiteer, and I'm not, but if I were, I would say this isn't about Brexit. This is about a new government passing a budget that didn't need to be passed, that involved huge tax cuts, that is bad for inflation and also means that your debt spirals. And so this is just bad policy. That's what I would argue.
But are there not? Is that not a compound effect after the impacts of Brexit?
I think politically it might be, because I think what happens is you go Brexit and then like the Tories go, OK, well what do we do now? We need to maintain the rage somewhere.
Yes.
But that's not necessarily the same as a policy connection. It might be more a political atmospheric connection. Or I might be completely wrong about that.
I would have said the same thing, but with bigger words. Good.
What would those words have been, Pete?
I can't go into them there, they're too long.